What happens when a god is raised among men? This is the question Man of Steel tried to answer back in 2013. And it was so divisive that it split the fan base into two. One half saw it for its cinematic epicness and the sci-fi chops, along with what is a inspired but creative origin story for Superman. The other side saw it for a soulless explosion fest that would only rival Michael Bay's Transformers. But beneath that polarizing rubble was a film that dared to redefine Superman. The question is, did it succeed? The movie opens up with this cosmic prologue, this sci-fi entrance where Krypton and this red sun, and we're in the final hours of the planet, and Jor-El, the leading scientist, is pleading to the council, we must evacuate, we must leave, we must do what's best for all Kryptonians. And the council's not having any of it. Where would they go, they're saying? How would they survive? And during this conversation, this political sci-fi conversation, Zod bursts through the door and lets them know, hey, this is a coup and the council must pay for their actions, dooming us all. You must accept the consequences. And in this chaos of military sci-fi, Jor-El, who happens to be the scientist, is also fighting off military individuals, because why not? We would expect that from Superman's father.
Goddamn right.
Eventually getting home and giving the codex of the Kryptonians to his son and shipping him off to Earth. It is some of the best sci-fi that you will find in a superhero movie. It hands down it is, and visually, spectacular. The story starts to experience issues as soon as we get to Earth, because in Earth, it's told in a non-linear story fashion. So you will have modern sections mixed in with flashbacks. And in those flashbacks, some of them are really well told. For example, when he is in the classroom and his powers activate, super hearing, hears everything, every single little tap, every single footstep, every voice, he's hearing and capturing everything, every silent whisper and all of that, captures everything. And at the same time, X-ray vision's happening. So he's able to see muscle tissue, he's able to see bones. That is scary for a young child. So he runs away and hides in a closet, and they proceed to try to open the closet. He gets angry, heat vision, and proceeds to burn the teacher. All of that is handled extremely well. The issue is because we don't get to see that as he grows up in like a fast format and then eventually reach to the modern times. We get to see that, and then we see a modern part of him saving an oil rig, for example. What it does succeed in this non-linear storytelling is pitting the two fathers' ideologies against each other. You have Jonathan Kent, which is letting him know, hey, you are special, you're gonna change the world, but the world is not ready for you just yet. You must hide. At the same time, I don't think the world will ever be ready for you. And eventually he reaches his ship, which then lets him know, hey, your purpose is to be a beacon of hope. Jor-El is letting him know, his consciousness is letting him know, we didn't have this plan for you to just hide. You must lead. And it's these two ideologies that I think should have been pitted against each other from the jump. Like literally the whole movie should have been these two ideologies. And that would have been much more powerful storytelling. But it doesn't pit those two ideologies against each other. It pits Zod's and Jor-El's ideologies against each other, which is military. You must destroy this planet and all of its people to make our family, our people survive, against no, you must teach them, you must lead them, and maybe we can coexist. That is a lot less powerful storytelling between hide and lead. And it's at pitting these two ideologies against each other where I think that the movie fails the most.
You just have to decide what kind of man you want to grow up to be, Clark, because good character or bad, he's going to change the world.
Let's talk about the aesthetics. Let's talk about the costume design, which I think is extremely underappreciated to this day. The muted color palette, the darker navy blues and the darker red, the little tiny details in Superman's suit, I think they are fantastic. The Kryptonian language, the wildlife we get to see in Krypton as well. Awesome little tiny bits of detail. And then you get into the little more religious, philosophical details that you will see throughout the film. The imagery of Christianity or the chosen one, especially using the sun, especially the correlation of Superman and the sun, which also, it just completely fits. And you get to eventually the CGI, which some parts of Zack Snyder's CGI is cold, but when it hits, sun hot, sunspot, hot spot, whatever you want to call it. It is on fire. It is amazing. And I think especially for some of the fight scenes, the CGI works tremendously. And then you get into the music and the sound and the spectacle of it all. Hans Zimmer replacing John Williams' trumpets is a choice like no other, especially since imagine the correlation between Christopher Nolan being on the writing team, and as well as his correlation to Hans Zimmer, who has done a lot of his movies. Hans Zimmer is just amazing. But this movie seems to like stubbing its toe on the world's largest kryptonite shard, known as its writing, and this redundant dialogue runs rampant throughout the whole film.
Proceed to ignition.
We have identified an engine ignition with
One of the lines that Superman tells Zod is, "You are a monster. I am going to stop you."
You're a monster, Zod, and I'm gonna stop you.
And it is, I don't know if whether to laugh because it's funny to me, because it is funny to me, or to really feel sorry for whoever wrote some of this stuff. Because where did you think that this was good dialogue, that Superman should definitely be saying this? There's another one where the general goes, "I don't know about you, but I think that this man or this person, whoever's up there, is going to make a dramatic entrance." And then they proceed to have a dramatic entrance. It is like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. So, the weird CGI, redundant writing, and awkward storytelling stumble their way onto Act 3. And what do we get? Instead of this battle of ideologies and dualities between man and God, we get a lot of fluff and bloat. We get way too much of side characters. This should be the Zod and Superman show, but I get the editor of the Daily Planet, played by Lawrence Fishburne. I get Maloney Stabler from Law & Order SVU, for you fans out there. He gets a lot of screen time. I get a lot of Amy Adams. To be honest and to be very frank, there's way too many people in the final act of a Superman film. Why? Because they put the world engine and they had to stop the fight midway because they had to plant the world engine to be able to terraform the planet and turn it into Krypton. We needed that. We did not need that, Mr. Snyder. This should have been a fight with all the religious imagery, with all the philosophical beliefs. This should have been a fight of ideologies between two men. A God that desires and wants to be more man than God, and a God who has no belief in man and wants the survival of his people of more gods and is willing to do anything to get that done. That is what this fight should have been. So then we get to the fight. And in the fight, you even have unnecessary scenes. I'm not even gonna talk about all the unnecessary scenes that we see throughout the movie. There's a lot of unnecessary scenes. This movie is way too long, to be honest. But then you get to the fights. And there's a specific scene where Zod can be seen learning how to fly, and now we shall dance in the middle of the air. And this should be an epic battle only Dragon Ball Z can replicate. You wanna know what he was doing the scene before that? He didn't know how to fly. He was crawling, jumping, crawling, frog hopping on a building to clash with Superman. That doesn't need to be there. You could have just had him learn how to fly and had him clash before the crawling. The crawling doesn't have to be there. But it's a way to explain his military prowess and the way that he was born, and now he's able to, because of his years of training, he's able to adapt really fast. There is better ways to get that off. There is way better ways to get that off.
We'll kill him.
How? He'll be a god to them.
Man of Steel introduces philosophy. It introduces godhood, introduces heavy symbolism of the chosen one, but it just leaves him floating in air. It just leaves them out there. We're literally like the people who love storytelling. We're grasping at it, and we can't touch the cape. We can't touch the suit. We can't. Nothing is utilized for it. But we most definitely need a Lois Lane arc. We need all of the side characters possible. We need multiple scenes of Jonathan Kent. We need all of the extra possible instead of focusing on the stuff that truly matters. And that is Man of Steel's biggest failure. Man of Steel is a complete paradox. It is as beautiful as it is burdened. It had all the makings to be the savior of the symbol, of the shield, reinvent Superman. But because of its pacing, because of the writing, definitely the writing, and the empty symbolism, it is kept from the greatness that is the Man of Tomorrow.
I will honor the man you once were, Zod. Not this monster you've become.
I would like to thank all of you guys, all you lovely people, for coming to my movie review. Thank you guys. Tell me what you guys think. Do you guys like Man of Steel? Do you enjoy it for what it is? Do you think that it reinvents Superman? Is this the standard for modern Superman films? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I'm your host, Mike Fury. Do all that magic stuff. Down with the subscribe and the notification bell, things like that. $1 that keeps the landlord away. Make sure to check my Patreon and make sure to check my YouTube membership. I'm your host, Mike Fury. It's been a complete pleasure. Until next time, Mike, off.